Well, your friend here, the lone wolf, has been found not guilty. Thank the Lord. Not that it would have been that high of a ticket anyway. The price of the ticket was $25. If you remember a few months back, I talked about this in a video. But it's not the amount of the ticket that's the problem. It's the fact that some of these cops out here on the roads that just want to get out here and write a bunch of tickets and hand them out like freaking candy at Halloween and trick-or-treating, just so they could try to make themselves look good for some sort of promotion and just hand them out for anything they can try to stretch the law to. You're full of it. You should be ashamed of yourself, harassing people, just trying to take their money from them. So for those that don't know what I'm talking about, I'll give you a quick recap. Back on November the 30th, I was on my way to work, okay? I'm traveling down I-85 South here in South Carolina, and a state trooper pulled me over. And I had no idea why I was being pulled over. I was in the far left-hand lane. She had just finished writing a ticket to someone as I was coming by where she was at, and then she merged back out on the highway. I made sure that I was not going any faster than she was, which was right at the posted speed limit, top speed limit, 60 miles per hour. There is a minimum. And one car, no cars were behind me at all, right? One car came from either the far right-hand lane or the middle lane, but I remember he come over and flew right up behind me on my tailgate and was there less than 5 to 10 seconds and cut out and went around me. Now, the reason I didn't get over is because in the middle lane, there was a car we were starting to approach that obviously was going slower than me. So I was going to get around that car and move over, okay? South Carolina, earlier in 2021, passed this thing, the Move Right law, okay? Which says you're not allowed to be in the left-hand lane to just sit there and uphold traffic. If you're causing a backup behind you, you must move over. If you've traveled in this area of the world, and I'm sure other states similar around this area are the same, you get people who just want to get in that left-hand lane, barely do the speed limit or whatever. Needless to say, they're not going any faster than the people in the other lane. And they're causing people who are trying to use that left-hand lane for passing, because they are going faster, they cause bad backup behind them on the highway. This is 9 p.m. at night. There's hardly any traffic out there on the highway. One car got behind me, and when she wrote me the ticket, she said I was impeding traffic in the left-hand lane because one car behind me, less than 5 to 10 seconds, was there. I'm just like, are you kidding me? I mean, that's a freaking joke, right? I didn't say none of this to her. Kept my composure. So I go to trial today. Oh my God, you should see the amount of people that were in that courtroom that this lady, if you want to call her that, was writing tickets to. I mean, half the people in there for traffic court were because she had issued them a ticket. And so we're all having to make our case. Some pled guilty, some pled not guilty. She let a few people who pled not guilty go. But with me, no. I don't get that privilege. She's going to move forward with me. Okay, let's go. So I'm not going to bore you with all the gory details of how I argued it, etc., etc. But let's just say Lone Wolf came with the guns loaded for this one. I wasn't going in there half-ass or half-cracked for this. Again, it's a $25 ticket. I can afford the $25. It's the principle of the matter. She's got no business harassing people like that. If they find me guilty, the worst thing they're going to do is tell me to go right out that door and pay the $25. And I will do that. But I'm not going to do it if I don't have to. I'm not going to do it just for some cop who wants to hand out tickets like candy so she can make her ticket quota look amazing. I'm not going to do that. So when they tried to caution me about representing myself, I said I'm representing myself and moving forward. They gave me the ability to ask her questions. I asked multiple questions in an attempt to establish what the law actually says. It's funny because the judge tried to cut me off and he was like, Mr. Anderson, you don't need to explain the law. I'm very familiar with the law. That's my area of expertise here. I said, well, that might well be, Your Honor. Unfortunately, the baseline for my questions revolve around what this law actually states. And so I will need to cite through that in asking her these questions. And I have read through the law myself to understand what it is about. Okay. So he backed off. I continued my questioning. When we got around to my testimony, I gave him my argument. I don't believe one car that was speeding, that came up on my bumper and cut out less than 5 seconds later to go around me. And in less than 2 seconds after he does that, almost as soon as he cuts out to go around me, you're jumping over to jump right in behind me and throw the blue lights on. And anything that I asked her, she could not dispute. Okay. I argued to the judge. I said, Your Honor, I said, I don't believe I'm guilty of this. I said, I think we know what this law is referring to. I said, I don't believe someone being behind me less than 5 to 10 seconds constitutes that. The law also says I'm still allowed to use the left-hand lane as long as I'm overtaking slower traffic, which I was in the process of doing. I also don't have to leave that lane unless someone gets behind me. And for a car that's there less than 5 to 10 seconds, I don't see where there is a traffic backup behind me. You can tell the way I read through that law and the way I came in there, it threw him for a loop, because last time I had to go into court, you had to dress nice, so I came dressed for the occasion, I thought. But was I surprised? See, I've never had to really go to traffic court for anything. No, everybody's in there all casually dressed. I had multiple of the cops in there. They were like, are you one of the attorneys? I'm like, technically no, but I am representing myself today. You can tell the way I got in there and argued the law with them that way. They did not like it. Especially the cop who wanted her candy money. Her ticket money. She didn't like the fact I argued it that way. The judge certainly didn't seem to be too thrilled with the situation. I kind of expected them to just be like, go out there and pay the fine. To my surprise, while he might not have liked the situation, he's a fair judge. He upheld the way the law reads, and he said, in this case, he asked for any closing arguments from the state. She gave none. He said, unfortunately, the state is required to provide evidence beyond a reasonable doubt you are guilty of the charge. I do not believe they can do that. Therefore, I am finding you not guilty. So, at least there is a victory there. Nothing huge, nothing major, but it's better. More people need to take a stand for something like that. More people need to go in there, because so many people she wrote these tickets to, and I don't know the situation. Maybe some of them were guilty of what she wrote them tickets for. But so many just went in there just to casually plead guilty so they could get a... See, here's how they try to get you, especially on that speeding violation, right? They write you a ticket to take so many points off. Because I sat there and I listened. They'll write you a ticket. They'll say, we're going to take so many points off your license and this is the fine. But if you plead guilty, just like anything else, we'll cut you a deal. You won't have such a severe penalty anymore. You won't have to do that. We'll cut you some slack. We'll cut you a deal, and you won't have to deal with this stuff anymore, right? That's the deal that they're trying to cut you. And if you take it, they're still getting their money. It makes them look good because the ticket holds up. If you think you've got a case, do your best to fight it. Because when more people start taking up this judge's time and taking up that cop's time where she's just there all day long because people are pushing back on her bullshit, they're not going to like that. And they might not be so gung-ho to write a bullshit ticket because of the fact they're worried that it's probably going to be challenged in court. But when they're confident, I can just write you this ticket. You'll take it like a little bitch. You'll come in there. You'll pay the fucking fine. If you do show up to trial, nothing's going to come of it. You'll just be there to pay and this and that and the third. If they're confident they can do that and get away with it, not only will they continue to do it, they'll probably only take that shit further and further to see just how far they could push it, because the more of these damn things they write, the more that it looks good on their resume. The better it makes them look, because they're out there bringing in that fucking money for the state. Or if it's a local cop, sometimes for the local precincts, their local department, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want people to think that this is an anti-cop video. I know many cops who are out there to do the right thing, to try to do the right thing. Unfortunately, as I've said in the past, when I have talked about law enforcement, there are always the few that are just trash. And that's an example of what this one is. Officer Todd, South Carolina Highway Patrol. You really should find something better to do with your time. So that being said, let me know what you guys think. Drop the comments in the comment box down below. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up. One small victory over crooked cops, but still something. So I hope everyone's doing well. My day is much better. I'm about to be going in to stock up on some supplies because the South is about to become a winter wonderland over the weekend. They're calling for 8 to 12 inches here in South Carolina, mixed with snow and ice. It's looking very bad. They expect potential power outages, so making sure I'm stocking up on some good kerosene fuel for our portable kerosene heater in case we got to break it out. Make sure we got some sort of food in the house, things that don't have to per se be refrigerated, even though we could just stick it outside, I suppose. Keep it cold, right? But I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you enjoy your weekend. If you're in my neck of the woods, make sure you're staying safe out there. Don't take any chances. People make fun of how the South shuts down for snow, but, down here we don't have the budget to invest in clearing the roads and things, so make sure you're all being careful if you're anywhere in this area. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.